So kind of getting to the kind of the title of the episode, in terms of some of the keys to smart and efficient, resource planning, multi-resource planning. I mean, when you have to plan and schedule different types of resources, I mean, what are some of the key factors that, companies and folks need to keep in mind to keep them all aligned and synchronized?
Yeah, I think actually the maybe the main thing that I would advise is also sort of a no-brainer. But you want to schedule these resources together. And the funny thing is that even though, hey, that sort of sounds like a no-brainer, it's not something that seems to be common practice yet. So in the end, if you look at scheduling multiple resources at the same time, there are a couple of different schools of thought, right? So in a lot of cases, the process that is followed is actually just, hey, let's first schedule the most constrained resource. Probably also actually your most expensive resource. But then use that as input for creating the schedule of your other resources. So for example, in your trucking example, it would be, hey, let's first make sure that we have a plan that works for all of our trucks, and then figure out how we're going to take care of that with our drivers. And that can actually be a good approach, but only if the resource that you're scheduling later on are actually rather flexible. So, hey, I create a plan for my trucks, and I can then do anything I want with the drivers to make sure that schedule is going to work out. But if you look at the classical multi-resource scheduling cases, then the problem becomes that if I create a plan that really works well for my equipment, it will quickly break down once I try to schedule my resources against it. When you start to get into these specialized resources with certain skills, that have certain qualifications, right? So the problem is that if you scale them in separate steps, you need to be very sure that the plan that you create at step one is still going to work out for the other resources downstream, so that you don't get into this phone call type of situation where, hey, you create a schedule for this resource, but now it doesn't work for me when I'm scheduling the next step. So combining it, especially if these resources really influence each other and are both very restricted, becomes the key part to provide a good schedule. And I think that one of the problems right now is that isn't the case yet, right? So you are still scheduling all of these things separately from each other. I think that getting all of that information in one system is actually step one for a lot of companies that I work with, that I see from the inside. And then once you have all that information available in one place, okay, now we can start using all of that information, the big data that you referenced early in the podcast, and make sure that we start optimizing against it. And we sort of move away from the classical, hey, we're scheduling in Excel, or yeah, I have a plan, but now to reserve my resources, I need to go to this Outlook calendar to take care of that resource. So bring it all together, so you then have the option of using that data to optimize against it. Is, I think, in the end, a simple step, but a very important step to go towards successful multi-resource scheduling.